In the North Bay, we're learning more about a vicious attack inside a Santa Rosa movie theater.
A random stranger ambushed Adam quickly from behind. Adam had surgery last night because of stab wounds to his throat and chest.
I woke up 7 days later from an induced coma. I had lost all sense of who I was. My body malnourished, energy levels depleted, confidence vanished. My mind was full of negative thoughts and self-doubt. I felt like I had lost my purpose in life. But why am I telling you this? Because this was when I realized my mind was playing tricks on me. If I wanted to ignite my true potential, this had to change. I began studying ancient journals on brain science and transformational psychology to unlock the secrets of our brain that enable us to become high-performing beasts. Every day, I woke up more ambitious, happy, and confident than the day before. I rose with laser focus, ready to conquer the day. I accomplished more in a day than I used to in weeks. That's when I realized I had acquired the mind of a conqueror. Now, I needed the body that would match who I was internally. A body that exuded confidence and commanded respect. A lean, powerful body that got heads to turn. So I started to research how the human body works. And this time, I hit the books and the gym. I put together an entirely new protocol that focuses on evolution, biology, and psychology. This process changed me on a cellular level. It granted me unbelievable strength and power without spending countless hours in the gym. I attained godlike energy that melted off effortlessly, and it was simply easier for me to be happy. This was the start of the new era of health. After weeks of applying this ultimate formula to my life, I finally tapped into my true potential. I simply looked better than I ever had, felt better than I ever had, and my mind was operating on a level I never thought possible. It was at this moment that I uncovered my passion to help people like you become high-performing beasts so that you can feel comfortable in your own skin and annihilate all your goals in life. For over 3 years, I've been teaching people how to acquire the mind of a conqueror through the Fulfilled Greek Conqueror program. I've helped thousands harness the full power of their mind, people who now live a rich life of happiness, purpose, and fulfillment. I was on the brink of death. I felt weak, empty, and lost. But I acquired the mind of a conqueror and transformed my body and my life for the better. Now, I want to help you tap into your true potential and do the same. I graduated Cal Poly San Luis Obispo in 2016, and I accepted a sales job in San Francisco. It was supposed to start July 11th. So I went up there 2 weeks before the job started looking for housing, super last minute. But I was staying at my aunt's place, and she told me on Wednesday I had to be out of the house for 8 hours. So I knew one person in the area, hung out with him for about 4 hours, and then he told me he had to go. So I didn't know anyone else in the area, couldn't go back to my aunt's place, so I decided to go watch a movie alone. I get to the theater, park my car, buy my ticket, and go in. And once I get into the room where the movie's being shown, there's only about 15 people there because it's a Wednesday at 3 p.m. Not many people are going to see a movie. So I think to myself, well, okay, I get to choose my seat, and I'll obviously pick the best seat in the house, which is the fourth row in the back and in the middle. And so the previews go through, and then the movie begins, and it's a really slow movie. And then about 10 or 15 minutes in the movie, it starts picking up a little bit, and then out of nowhere, I feel a hard hit to my throat. And my initial reaction was like, this guy hit me hard. So I stood up and I was like, dude, what the hell? And then I felt another punch here and here. And so I turned around and I pushed him. And as I push him, I feel a cut on my wrist and ear. And instantly, I knew this guy stabbed me. Those weren't punches. So as I pushed him and I felt that cut, I started yelling, I've been stabbed, I've been stabbed. And he started running off and the lights turned on and I was bleeding out. This guy stabbed me in the throat with a chef knife, the ones where the blade gets bigger, closer to the handle. So he stabbed me and it went halfway through my throat. That was the first one that I thought was a hit. And then when I stood up, he stabbed me here and then he got me here and it actually punctured my lung here. So I took off my shirt and wrapped it around my neck and I was holding the blood in. And then my perception of time is completely disordered, but I'd say about a minute or two passes before anyone comes to help me. and these two older women come running up, and they're like, what should we do? And I just told them, pit pressure on my neck. So they started holding my shirt against my neck. So I was literally bleeding out just sitting in my chair, and the paramedics came pretty quick, probably about like 5 or 10 minutes. And so they put me up on a stretcher, and I'm not kidding you, this was the most painful thing in my life. When they put me up on there, I felt like I got stabbed worse than the actual stabbing because I didn't have any adrenaline in me in all the same spots. So I felt like I got stabbed like 3 or 4 times. So they're like, all right, let's get him down. And so the person in the front right steps over a row of seats, and I feel all my wounds worse than getting stabbed. And then the person in the front left, then the back right, then the back left. So for every row of seats there were, I felt like I got stabbed in all 3 of those places, worse than the actual stabbing. It was the most excruciating pain I've ever endured, by far. And they bring me into the ambulance, and at this point, I finally start to relax. I'm like, all right, the paramedics know what they're doing. I don't have to worry about myself anymore. And as soon as I got that thought, I felt a cold rush through my entire body. And it was like nothing I've ever even experienced before. And it dawned on me, I was like, I lost a lot of blood. Like, I could definitely die. And then, like, the paramedics put a mask on me. And I remember thinking, all right, don't fall asleep. You're not supposed to fall asleep in this situation. But then, like, 5 seconds later, I'm knocked out. Seven days later, I wake up from a seduced coma, and I'm living off tubes. I have, like, 4 or 5 different tubes, like, it was pretty crazy. I remember like the first day, that first night that I woke up there, okay, do you want to try and get up and use the bathroom? And I was like, yeah, definitely. Like, I want to try and get better and get these tubes off of me. And so I remember I was laying in my bed for 7 days in that seduced coma. I was like in this position, and they're like, all right, so let's get you up. And I went from this position to like this. I'm not even kidding you. I like was about to throw up instantly just from lifting my head like 5 inches. And I had to look at the same spot in the ceiling for 5 hours straight because I thought I was going to throw up. And the whole time I was worried, like, if I throw up, I'm going to throw up in these into tubes that are in my mouth. Like, how's this even going to work? If I want to talk to someone, I have to write down. And then so the next day I remember they're like, okay, do you want to try and go to the bathroom again? And I was like, sure, let's do it again. So then I made it up off my bed, thankfully, and I got to the edge and I tried like standing up. My legs didn't work. And I remember thinking like, I used to be a Division I track athlete, and now my legs don't fucking work. Like it really like dawned on me how serious this was. And at that moment when I couldn't even use my legs, I told myself, in 1 year, I'm going to be faster, I'm going to be stronger, and I'm going to be happier than I was before. And I remember like that was just my goal. Like I had to believe that was going to happen, and that was my motivation. And 2 weeks later, I think I was released from the ICU and I got to go home. The recovery was insane. Like I had nerve damage in my tongue and a few other places, but then I couldn't even move my tongue to the right side of my mouth, and I couldn't pronunciate my own name. I had to go to speech therapy, normal therapy, physical therapy. I have metal plates in my like face or jaw or something now, and I had to get those checked. I had like 5 different appointments I had to go to each week to keep monitoring how everything was going. And for me to eat, I would literally have to take a small like tablespoon and eat like a quarter of that small tablespoon, and then turn my neck, swallow, clear my throat by going like the most obnoxious noise ever, turn my head and repeat. And I'm not even kidding you, it would take me an hour to eat, and I would still be super hungry after I eat. But the reason why I stopped eating was because I didn't have the energy to keep eating. Like any normal task was like impossible for me to do. Me getting up to go to the bathroom was like, oh my God, like I don't want to do this right now. It was crazy. I've never felt so weak and pathetic in my entire life. It was a really tough experience, but I had that motivation to become a better person and a better version of myself. So every day I kept training for that. And actually 9 or 10 months later, I completed my goal. When I went back in the gym, I finally, after like 9 or 10 months, got stronger than I was before. I was able to put up more weight, and I was just in a really happy place. I was thankful I was alive. I'm extremely lucky to be alive. There's no way around it. The doctor said if the guy stabbed me 1 inch in any other direction here, I'd be, at best, have lost my voice forever. But that one should have killed me. The one down here punctured my lung, should have killed me. I'm not sure how severe this one was. It's pretty big. But the fact that I'm alive is like a complete miracle. So in my free time, I like to study and research on nutrition and fitness and really just achieving the most I can out of life and accomplishing a lot. I'm a very ambitious person, so I try and study others that I highly respect and have hit the goals that I have hit, and I try and follow their path. And while I find all this knowledge, I like to compile it together and put it out so that more people can learn how to do it and live a healthier life.